The Drip Sports Show, powered by NJCP Football League. High school is over, but your grind is just starting. Welcome to the National Junior College Prep Football League, elite competition, maximum exposure. Secure your spot. Register at NJCP today.
Greetings. Welcome to The Drip. My name is Sam Lutui, and this is my co-host,
Shaun Hartman. Welcome.
And so to all the football fans and football lovers everywhere, we're coming at you with the latest in NJCP sports. All the happenings, all the news, player profiles, coaches, and even just the topics surrounding college football or football sports in general.
What we're going to do today is we're going to highlight some of these athletes that we have coming to the NJCP to experience our unique approach to college sports, because the landscape is changing every day, Sam. And as we've heard, the SEC possibly wants to secede from the NCAA and things of that nature. But for us, we're all about our athletes right now. Spotlighting the NJCP athletes that have committed to us, that's a bonus for all of us, man, for the fact that we are getting athletes that have already got D1 offers. We've got athletes that are 1, 2, 3-time all-state, all-conference, all-area. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just jump in right now, and I'm going to start with one of our athletes from the Birmingham Bears. LaKedrick White is his name. He's an athlete that is a dual player. He plays both offense and defense. He's a wide receiver, defensive back. He's 6'3", 170 pounds. Great athleticism. He's already got D1 commits looking at him, but he's coming to us to enhance his film and to enhance his skill levels so that next fall he'll have a chance, and actually I apologize, it will be next spring, he'll have a chance to possibly move on from what we have going on to the next level. But he's the type of athlete that we are able to get into our association because of what we have for the quality of coaching, the experience, as well as the playing time that these players are going to be able to get with the NJCP, Sam.
Well, that sounds like amazing. I mean, this kid you're saying he's an offensive player, defensive player?
He plays both.
He
Yes.
plays both, but any indications of what he's going to be at the college level? Not many kids are going to be your Travis Hunter or your Deion Sanders, at the next college. As you know, college is tough. You're focusing on one position only, is your normal. But you're saying that this kid's possibly can go either direction.
In the world of specialization now with these kids, they specialize in one thing or another. With this particular athlete, because of his athleticism and his size, I believe that he has the opportunity to play on either side of the ball. But as his coaching staff, they'll know more about what they're going to do with him than we do. You know what I'm saying? Sure. At this point, I don't have enough information on the young man, which I wish we did. But I believe at his size, the wide receiver thing is what I'm believing is going to be, because that 6'3", 175, 180 pounder, to be a DB at that size, you don't see many of those. But then again,
not many of them.
That's right. Yeah, but that's deadly. You know what I'm saying? And in the athleticism of a gentleman that size, he can go a long way.
So the upside for him is pretty good on either side of the ball.
Yes. I think the upside for him is, there's two things as coaches we can't teach, right, Sammy?
Yeah. That's
size
and speed.
Yes, sir. So
that's right. You heard it from here. That's my man. He's going to evaluate a lot of these players, and there's a lot of movements going on. We've been looking at videos, there are highlights of a young man out of Mesa, Arizona. That's my hometown, Mesa, Arizona, coming to the Yeti by the name of Randy Branton, a quarterback. 6'5", about 215, 6'5". That's a prototype quarterback. I mean, that's your great size quarterback.
Oh, that's NFL size already.
And he's got an arm based on the things that I've seen already. His highlight film shows really well under pressure. And, obviously these are just highlights that we've seen. We've seen some really good things. Very impressive about this kid. And he's going to the Yeti. It's exciting to see quality players like himself, and like the kid that you're talking about.
Joining the NJCP, Sam. That's awesome. You're right.
Yeah, and these are quality kids, quality players, and some great athletes, which gonna have some great talent, and great talents will always provide great entertainment and great games and a chance for their team to to compete at the highest level. I believe that, and so that's very exciting. You know, when I was in as a recruiter, as a college coach, I remember watching all these highlights of these players, and you know, there's one thing to watch the highlights. You know, because those are all the good things, right? Like going on a date and you're talking to a girl, and you know, everybody's always just going to talk about the good things about them, right? You're never going to expose all your weaknesses and stuff like that. Obviously, that's things for the coaches and recruiters to look at, and so it's going to be exciting how you see a lot of these kids that have these natural gifted talents that they come in 6'5", 215 as a quarterback is a great size.
Yes.
You know, you're talking about this kid as a receiver. How tall is he again?
He's 6'3", $170, $175, right in there. You know, coming out in.
And I mean, those are great size. And so you got young kids that are moving along, that are coming into this league, and they're going to try to make a name for themselves, and also at that same time make a name for this league. You know, and it sounds exciting. It sounds great. And we got more players coming. That we're going to be talking about. But we're going to take our first break, Shaun. We'll come right back, and we'll dive in more into a lot of the movements that are going on in this league and some of one of these players. We'll be right back.
Here's a word from our sponsors.
Every great play starts with the right team, and so does every great business. Eterna Indonesia gives U.S. companies world-class offshore talent in operations, marketing, and tech, trusted by top U.S. companies since 2021. Visit eternaindonesia.com.
And we're back to the drip. So who else have we got? Who are we talking about?
Well, Sam, ironically enough, we have another young man with great size, and he is also a dual player. The young man actually plays for the Spots. His name is Leroy Gray. This young man is a 6'3", 210-pound defensive back / wide receiver. So we're talking athleticism at the size as well. To be able to play both sides of the ball, like we talked about earlier, you know how hard it is just to play one spot.
Yeah. But
to play two. And I'm glad that you brought it to our attention and before the break that we're here to spotlight these athletes, but these athletes are here to help us spotlight the NJCP as well. Because if we don't have quality athletes to be able to put out there in front of everybody, we're not doing our job as the recruiters, as the people setting up the league, because we want to get the best athletes possible so that when you come play at the NJCP, you're playing against the best as well. Because if you're not playing against the best, we're not getting better either. So, you know what I'm saying? And with these athletes, it's amazing some of the things these guys have done. This guy here, he's been all conference, all area for 2 years in a row, which is impressive coming in. And he committed because he feels that we are the best fit for him for his film. And that's what I was going to say earlier to you as well when you were talking about you watch a lot of film as a college coach. When these players send their films in, what are you looking at from their film? So that if we have you guys out there thinking about putting your film together on your own, think about some of these things Sam is going to express to you about making your film more appealing to coach.
You know, when I used to go to high schools, a lot of the high school coaches obviously were, if there's a player that they're trying to push out there for the recruiter, they would say, check out this game. His is best game, or, where he threw for 5 touchdowns, or, give you all these great games. But I asked the coach, I look at their record, if they have, if they were like 8-2 or 7-4, I would say, give me the tape of your worst loss. That's the tape I want to see. Because I want to see that kid's reaction when things don't go their way.
You want to see the building of character in these players.
Yes, I want to see how they respond, how they interact with each other,
Yes.
With the other players. I look for that more than, I pay attention to that more than the highlights. The highlights will be great. They'll do great things, and most people do great when things go well, right?
Right.
When the sun is shining and everything, you're smiling, everything's going well, it's a lot easier to say hello to people and say, hey, how we doing, and be good and be kind when everything's going great.
Oh, yeah. When you're winning, it's easy to do all that, right? And they say losing builds character. I believe losing reveals your character, okay? That tells who you really are. Because when things are good, bro, like you said, hey, Sammy, man, won today. But when you're a loser,
Yeah.
And you're on that side of the field, and
Yeah.
your character is huge in how you interact with the rest of your team when things are bad as well,
And,
when things are down.
And unfortunately for this kid, when I was one of the kids I was recruiting, I saw on the video when they were losing, and when he came off the field, it was, the
Body
attitude
language.
was just like, it was just, and it was infectious throughout the whole sideline, the whole
Yes.
team, and it affected, and so when I look at that, and it becomes a red flag on this kid, and he might have all the great talent and everything when things go well. But as in sports, things don't go well all the time.
That's
Sometimes you have to fight for things to happen. You have to get in there and grind it out and figure it out. And then, in tough times, you have to rise to the occasion, and you got to unite the troops, especially for a quarterback. I look for leadership opportunities that happens in dire situations or in difficult situations.
For sure. And in this day and age, Sam, somebody's always watching. And the other thing is, who knows if you're on film or not, because somebody's got a phone out filming. So you never know where you're going to be caught and how it's going to be caught on film and what you're doing. Because like you said, it's contagious. Whether it's a positive or a bad attitude, it's contagious to the rest of the team, Sammy.
It's funny, I go back to an experience when I was coaching. We were playing bigger team, bigger division. I won't mention any names, but we had a starting quarterback who was a veteran at that time. And then we had a freshman who was his backup, a kid just right out of high school. And, we were at a smaller school, but at this university, it was a bigger university. Their fans were going crazy. They were a very hostile environment. And the quarterback got hurt. He was rattled. Our veteran quarterback was hurt, and he was rattled. And so the young freshman came in, and so I was in there with the coach as we get in the huddle, and we're talking to the offense going in, and I think we were inside the 25-yard line. And I looked at this kid, he's freshman, just right out of high school. And I go, "Hey, you ready to do this?" And he said, "I live for this."
I love it.
This kid, and for the veteran was the whole game, he was, on edge. And this kid was like, "I live for that." And that's what we saw during recruiting.
Right.
It was tough times. This kid, was able to rally his team during the tough time, And so when I was looking at recruiting them and watching all their recruiting tapes, and it was, I specifically pay attention to when they're losing. To the games they're losing, because I want to see their attitude in addition to watching their highlights.
Right.
And so there's a lot of these kids. So I'm excited about a lot of the movement that's going on. There's another kid that I want to highlight as well and talk about, Quincy Jones, a receiver locally here in St. George, Utah. We had some great numbers. Kid has got speed. Obviously, his DNA runs well in Southern Utah with sports and athletics.
Of course, yes, his father. Yes, sir.
And so I'm excited to see where he ends up,
Well, with Quincy, I've been fortunate enough to be able to watch Quincy grow as a young man because I've officiated sports in this part of the world for a long time. And so I was able to see Quincy grow and see him get his experience and actually watch his leadership qualities grow as he's gotten older. So that's been a bonus for Quince. I'm glad you highlighted Quincy on this because he's one of those athletes that deserves to be highlighted because he's been doing things the correct way. You know what I mean? And he approaches his workouts. Actually, just today, we saw him coming from a workout. So those are the types of athletes that we're looking at. They don't need to be pushed by mom and dad to be at their workouts. They're at their workouts because they're working on their own future.
Self-motivated. And one thing about this kid, he went on a religious mission, and so how does those 2 years factor into his numbers?
At this time, with what's going on, he's still on the old school platform. So Quint's coming off of his religious mission. He has not even started his clock yet. In fact, his clock will not start until January if he does not participate this year in an NCAA sanctioned division.
And and I'm mentioning that because there's people throughout the country that will be, taking time off for military as well as religious.
And then babies as well are in that same category. So everybody knows that birth of a child within that category works also.
I see.
And from what I understand is that works for men as well as women. If that man is having his wife or his girlfriend is having a child, he can have that buffer year, I guess we're going to call it, a prep year. Actually, that's what it will be called, is a prep year.
I see.
And to be able to get ready.
Wow.
So,
well, who else do we have? Anything
Well,
we can highlight?
I have one more athlete that I'm going to highlight, and all mine happen to be East Coasters. And this young man, his name is Seth Henson. Now, I have no logistics on him in terms of his size, height, this and that, but Seth is a kicker, okay? And Seth has been all conference, all division, and all area for 2024, 2025, and 2026 in the Louisville, Kentucky area. Being that he's going to be playing for the Louisville Thunder, he's a homegrown kid. He's got 3 consecutive years of consistency of being an all-conference player, an all-area player. He's very consistent from 45 to 55 yards. We're looking at a young man that's coming to play with us in the NJCP because he wants to enhance his skill level. He also wants to get his recruiting tape to where it needs to be. And the reason I was asking Sammy about what he looks for in recruiting tapes is we're going to help you with your recruiting tape when you come through the NJCP. We help you get that information out there. So this kid, though, is the real deal. I've got to see him kick one kick from 45 yards for a game winner, and his form looked great, though, didn't it, Sammy? We couldn't tell his size, but the kid's got great form, and it was a game winner in an all-star game.
Hey,
so
there you have it. Kickers too. You know, we're talking about all the skills players. Obviously, the quarterbacks and the receivers and your skill guys are going to get all the accolades. But we got kickers in there too, huh? The kickers getting some love today.
Sammy, me being a Raider fan my whole life, Ray Guy was a kicker, a punter for the Raiders, okay? But he was also their safety quarterback when they were out of quarterbacks. He did that. He could play receiver. Okay, so it doesn't mean that just because you're a kicker, you're not athletic, gentlemen. We want that to be known. Okay?
Hey, and how many games have, how many Super Bowls have come down to the kicker?
All right.
We make fun of all these kickers, but they come down. I mean, they're just there, but, when you need them.
Yes, you need them, for sure. This is what's funny. I have a friend that I played softball with years ago, and he was the all-time leading scorer at Weber State. Do you know what position he played?
Kicker.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
He was a kicker, an all-time leading scorer for Weber State football. So keep that in mind, y'all. That's how important kickers are.
Hey, kickers and long snappers, too.
Well, a kicker can't kick without a good snap.
That's right.
And a hold. But I
know some people that they just solely focus on snapping and made quite a career in the NFL. All they do is long snap.
Yep.
So
any of you long snappers out there that are looking for a spot, the NJCP may be the place for you to come and get started. Who knows? Long snapper NFL, that's a good career.
That's a great career.
Yes.
It's a very healthy career.
Yeah.
You have a handful of plays
a game
every game, and
yep.
While the rest of the world is sleeping, they're already putting in the work. But financial barriers shouldn't keep them on the sidelines. That's why we started the Impact Athletic Foundation. We sponsor underprivileged youth, providing the elite athletic training and vital academic support they need to succeed on the field and in the classroom. Find out how you can help sponsor you and your community. Visit impactathleticfoundation.com today.
And so there it is, improve your skills but that's the thing about this great game. I believe this is the greatest sporting event or game there is, which is American football. There's so much dynamics that go into it. You got offense and defense, different coaches, different schemes, different players, different skill set. And then you have to put them all together and have this strategy of trying to win a game. And then you have your special teams, So folks, special teams, don't count on the special teamers. So if you're a long snapper, you're a kicker, you're a punter, all of those things, there's a place for you here at the NJCP. So make sure to go to our website at njcp.com, find out all the latest events, and you can find some of the profiles of the players in there.
Yes.
Is that right, Shaun?
Yes. And please like and share and help us get our information out there, because we want to reach as many young people as possible to give them the opportunities that we offer, because we offer opportunities your conventional colleges don't offer at this point in time, because we are in a unique situation that nobody else is in, and it's been designed that way from the beginning. And I believe, Sam, that we are the future of college athletics moving forward. So please like and share. I'm not that guy to ask and beg for that stuff, because I just would hope you would do it anyway, but please help us get the word out for these players. And Sam, you talking about football being a different animal. I played high school basketball and high school baseball. I didn't play high school football till my senior year because I wanted to specialize on the basketball. I didn't want to get hurt. But when I played high school football my senior year, the football is a totally different animal in terms of interacting, like you said, because there are so many different components involved, and you have that many people on a team that are all working towards the same goal, and it takes everybody. It takes even our players that are your practice players, that we are going to call our JV players, because we're going to have a JV division. If you don't have good practice players and you're not working hard in practice, man, it sure translates to the field, because you're not getting in those hard reps in practice. You're not used to it on the field. That's why what we have going on, every player that comes and plays for us, you have a chance to get on the damn field and play ball. You're not sitting behind somebody, because we're giving you the opportunity to play. So please, put the word out there for all these young men that are just coming out of high school, even guys that are 2-3 years out that still think they got a chance. And Sammy, as we said, they want to tickle that itch, as I said last time. Let's get them there. But please, like and share.
Absolutely. Well, there we have it. Thank you for joining us with The Drip. Sam Lutui.
And Shaun Hartman, and we'll see you on the drip side next time.
The Drip Sports Show, powered by NJCP Football League.